Welcome back. We're back again with celebrity media coach and the founder of Influence Entertainment, Dyana Williams.
Oh, it's great to be back with you, Dr. Joanne.
We can do this forever as far as I'm concerned, but we only have a little bit of time.
Yes.
So you have really worked with so many famous people too. Let's kind of do a little bit of going back into history and back into your career.
Okay.
Diana Ross.
Oh, she was a friend of my ex, Kenny Gamble, and it was a high point for me to meet her because I had been a fan of hers in the Supremes, and then when she did her solo career. So yeah.
Now you're also in the Guinness World of Records. Another feat for you. Tell us about that.
I had an idea
You're so
some years
amazing.
ago to do the world's largest line dance. And when Don Cornelius made his transition, I went to my boss and I said, okay, let's honor Don Cornelius and Whitney Houston because they died about a week apart around the same period of time. And so before the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, we amassed a crowd of 3,000 plus people, and we went for a Guinness World Record. We worked with Sheila Simmons and another group of community leaders, Amir Khan and E. Stephen Collins, and we pulled it off. And it took a minute for us to get the notice that we had received the status, but we hold the record. I say Philadelphia because I presented the Mayor Michael Nutter, with the actual certificate, which is in City Hall now. We hold the record for the world's largest Soul Train line, and I was one of the primary organizers. So that was another high point. That and delivering the commencement speech at our alma mater, Temple University last year. Yeah.
So in terms of community activism, because that's also one of your signatures here, tell us something that really inspired you through that.
Well, as a radio personality, I've been on the radio now 40 years. I use the microphone as a platform to espouse information that is going to entertain, but educate as well. I'm about, just as you are, empowering people to live a better quality of life, a quality of life where you can sit back and say, I am passionate about what I do. I'm excited about every moment, every second that I live. That's how I feel. So when I'm on the radio, I'm trying to brighten people's days, not just with the music that I play, but what I say and what I present in terms of information. And so that's what my life is about. And using music, in the case with me, through the International Association of African American Music Foundation, using music to lift the spirits of people.
Which music is so important, and it has that it has that universality.
Absolutely.
And it does lift people's spirits.
Absolutely.
So what I find too is that when you and I had a conversation, your humility is just amazing. You've done so much, and you're such a beautifully prominent figure, and yet you're so humble. How do you get that way?
Mother, father. Like I referenced my parents and my grandmother, Bienvenida Vives, who helped raise me. I'm Latina and African American, and I just come from a family that was about service and love. And so I've been imbued. I believe the Creator has given me a special gift of communicating and touching other human beings as I'm touched. I mean, there's 7 billion of us here on the planet. I wish I could meet every single person and hear their stories and make a difference in some shape, form, or fashion. So how blessed are you and I to be on television and radio, write books, speaking engagements, where we have a chance to touch people's lives.
It's very special.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you're very special.
Thank you.
Tell us a story, thank you. Tell us a story about somebody that you actually coached.
Ooh, well, I've coached so many people. You know, when I get asked, favorite client or least favorite client.
Favorite. I don't want
I've worked with so many. I'll tell really quick because I know we're limited on time. Faith Evans, who was the widow of Biggie Smalls. Every time she did an interview, people wanted to know about Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls. They didn't want to know so much about her. She graduated, she went to Fordham University as a marketing major. She writes her songs. She has a great voice. She herself is a fabulous talent.
So how did she need coaching? Why
well,
did
she needed coaching because she didn't know how to handle these questions about her deceased husband, the alleged affair with Tupac Shakur. So when I worked with her, we tackled those things.
Because the media can be tough with
Absolutely, and that's all people wanted to know immediately. So I said, we're going to start with answering those questions without you being asked. We're going to take it to the hoop.
Good idea.
We're going to take it to the hoop. And once she started doing that, she said, I was young when I got married, thrusted into fame and fortune. Imagine if that were your life. It was a tough life. And so what I taught her to do was to appeal to people's sense of consideration and sensitivity. And it started working for her, and she learned how to handle those questions with greater ease, to the point where she was on the cover of Ebony, Jet, Essence, and things turned around. So Faith Evans was a lot of fun to work with. But I have a lot of stories of artists and people, and we just don't have the time. So I love all my clients. I love the opportunity to help them.
When they come to you, Dyana, what are they asking for?
Well, it's different for different people. If they have a book project, they want to figure out the best way. For instance, I've worked with T.I. on his books. How do we talk about this book? He was doing The View with Barbara Walters. He had just gotten out of prison. So we tackled how to answer the tough questions about his gun charges, going to prison, writing this book while he was in prison with David Ritz. So it depends. It's different.
So it's very individualized.
Usher, I work with him. He is dyslexic, and he had never talked about it publicly. So he wanted to figure out what was the best way to talk about being dyslexic.
And be comfortable with it, too.
Be comfortable and help other people who are facing similar issues.
You've worked with Rihanna, too.
I worked with Rihanna on her very first album. She was concerned about her accent. She felt that she's Bayesian, and she felt that her accent would not allow Americans to understand her because of the accent. But we figured it out. Her accent has lessened some, and she's one of the biggest superstars in the world.
And she's really gotten past that, too.
Yeah, she's gotten past it. And I told her, I said, you're going to be a big star. Listening to the music, experiencing her persona, I predicted that one, and that's a prediction that came true.
You are an inspiration to me and to so many people. Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Do you ever have a good strategic plan and wonder why it fails? Up next, we have some expert advice that may help you understand why, and also tools for being a persuasive marketer.